class. My name is Kaylee Bigbin, and today I'm going to be giving a persuasive speech. This is my audience. I have two members here, one here, and one on the phone. Can you turn it around real quick and show it?
Oh.
And then the one filming. All right, so let's begin. Today, I'm going to be giving a persuasive speech on special education individuals in schools being integrated into normal or atypical classrooms. So, the reason that this is a good thing, that it is actually beneficial for ASD students is there's several different reasons. For one, it benefits the general education students because they're getting that opportunity to be more inclusive and diverse and, learn better leadership skills and how to approach people that may be unique or different than them and how to properly communicate with them. And it's another good thing about that is that in these general education classrooms, the curriculum is so much more stronger. So I guess, for instance, in an ASD classroom, the curriculum may be on a lower level, grade level wise or age wise, just because, they're trying to input more information at a faster rate, but also starting earlier in age. So one might be on a kindergarten curriculum level that is in an ASD classroom at age 21. And that's just so that they can go over all of it differently. But I personally believe that it is beneficial, and research also backs this up, that it is beneficial to integrate ASD students into regular classrooms because then they have the opportunity to learn so much on a broader scale. And once you put them in that classroom, they can connect with the other students, the atypical students, and kind of learn how to socially communicate a bit better, because typically ASD students tend to struggle with communication or understanding the curriculum because it is so fast-paced compared to an ASD classroom. It is most likely very beneficial for the students because they are able to learn that way. There are some people that may be against it. For instance, there are several people that think that putting ASD students into atypical classrooms may be harmful. And that reason is usually just because people with ASD typically tend to be more loud or expressive with themselves, so they may be wanting to stand up and walk around in classrooms or, various different things, screaming out, yelling out. But it's not meant to be in a way to distract anyone. That's just how they communicate. An example I have of this personally, which can kind of give you guys my credentials on this a bit, is actually I was in a classroom with a boy. He was around my age, maybe a tad bit younger, and it was a atypical classroom, but they had integrated him from an ASD classroom into this course. Yes, there were some downsides to it, but there was also a lot of positives. For one, he was able to play an instrument in a band class, which he would have never got that opportunity had he had been just in the ASD classrooms. For two, there was many people he got to talk to and make friends with, and everyone knew him when he walked in the halls. It was way better for him on a communication scale. The negatives on it, of course, though, are there are some students that aren't nice. And also, he did walk around a lot, which it didn't affect me. It didn't affect my learning. But also, the student would just the teacher would just redirect him, and then he would calm down and he would just take a seat and stem quietly in his seat. And I think that is pretty much what would happen with any student. I mean, there are some students, ASD students, that may be a bit more outspoken and not really want to sit down when redirected. But there are ways to approach it, and there are many students in ASD classrooms that are so smart and they love talking to people, they love making friends, and they love learning. and they would be perfectly fine in those classrooms. And I think integration is a very great thing for students in ASD classrooms because they do get so much opportunities, and they're not singled out just because of them being autistic or on the spectrum in any sense. They shouldn't be singled out. They should have the ability to learn just as the other students. And so pretty much in conclusion, ASD students should be in atypical classrooms because
it helps them.
Yes, because it helps them. It helps them, yes. Being in a regular classroom, they have the ability to, learn so much and interact with other people and have more experiences surrounding them, and that fosters a better way of their communication and many other things.
And they're able to do, like you said, music and band and whatnot.
Yes, exactly. And there's actually another example that I have of this for you guys, just because I think this may help you guys understand the topic on a broader level, is actually some of the students in the ASD classroom, they got to go into the agriculture room. And in the agriculture room, they got to interact with chickens, which have also been shown in studies. Animals are very helpful for people with ASD. They, interacting with them, touching senses, touching, feeling, all of that. Animals, that helps them so much with expressing what they feel internally, and in turn helping with their stimming and outbursts, so to say. So that, and then art class is another one. I actually knew a ton of students that were in ASD classrooms that got to join the art class, and it was so great. It was so beautiful. They got to go in there and draw and do whatever they wanted, and it also kind of provided them more structure, because in art class, the art teacher would direct them, we're going to draw this today. Can you do this shape, or can you paint a picture like this? They had a detailed thing. It wasn't just free drawing or just doing whatever. And they also were in the classroom with the other students. And I think that's great. And I think that really does help them whenever it comes to their learning. Does anyone have any questions?
I think I have a much better understanding now because of your speech, and I thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm very glad you were able to gain an
I
understanding.
do have a question.
What does
Yes.
ASD mean?
ASD means autism spectrum disorder, and it is people who may have special needs and are different from us. What's your question?
I was just curious how the other students that aren't ASD, how is that fair to them to have these children who are disrupting the classroom?
Mom!
Yes, ma'am. I understand completely what your question is. So she said that how does a student with ASD being in a classroom, why is that fair to general education students? And my answer to this is it's fair because they're both human, they're both students, but also I understand your concerns, and that maybe they may be loud and disruptive, and then they won't be able to get their proper education. There's no fear there, because generally most autistic individuals, when blended into a atypical classroom, they're very, they behave better in my opinion, and they're able to connect on different levels. And it's great for the general education students too. They have so much opportunities to talk and communicate and learn on such a broader scale. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kaylee.
What?
Very good, Kaylee.
Thank you. I have one other
Very,
speech.
very good.
Kaylee.
Huh?